Event corraling is a term or a concept that I came up with to describe something I observed happening in my own life and in the lives of my friends and family and clients that I work with as a counselor and as a behavioral coach. I also do some heroism educator stuff and some peer support stuff on the side. And in those different roles, I notice, things that happen to people because that's one of my superpowers is paying attention and kind of analyzing, figuring stuff out, and understanding things. And then I come up with these little ways of describing it, and so I can share it with you, and maybe you can more easily recognize it in your own day-to-day life, and then you'll be able to deal with it more effectively or more appropriately than other people who had not been prepared ahead of time. So I saw this great video online of these ducks that were like 5 or 6 ducks, and they were being herded in a certain direction by these 2 or 3 sheepdogs. And basically, the sheepdogs had been trained to move their bodies in a way that would make the ducks react out of fear. And the ducks would move until the end of the video, the ducks were in a little hula hoop. So the cool thing about the video was that you could see how these dogs were working together in concert in a way that would move and motivate the ducks in a desired direction. And the ducks eventually went into the hula hoop circle, just like the people who trained the dogs wanted them to do. So when I say event corraling, what I mean is sometimes in the human world, in our life, our experience here on planet Earth, things seem to happen that are kind of strange and weird, and we don't really know how to explain it. But they can sometimes cause us to go right when we would have gone left. Or maybe we stop when we would have kept going. And so it's important for you to be able to notice when things seem to be happening that might be event corraling you and your behavior and your behavioral responses, right? Your behavioral choices. Because before you know it, you could end up marching yourself right off a cliff and not ever have realized that the whole time there were some events happening that were being strategically created by someone behind the scenes, the person that trained the sheepdog, the person that set up those events in order to, because they knew that you would respond out of fear, or they knew that you would respond out of a desire to be accepted by your peer group. Maybe because you haven't really awoken to that own innate desire that you have to fit in, and that you want to fit in so badly that you're willing to be pushed in a certain direction that will ultimately be bad for you. And so these people that don't have your best interest in mind might create events that would then serve to sort of catapult you or propel you in a desired direction. And then they can kind of move forward like the sheepdog. They can move those events again, do the same process again until eventually you're being chased around the chessboard just like a king that's on the chessboard, one of the pieces, and next thing you know, you're in checkmate, right? And so if you want to be able to complete your journey to Awesome Town, in which you're able to create and protect the kind of situation every day that's good for your recovery and good for your success in life as a human being and as an individual that's trying to make progress towards goals, then you're going to want to be aware of the way in which other change agents, other influence agents or agents of influence, that's like the sheepdogs, right? Or the people behind the sheepdogs, those agents of influence might be creating events in order to make you want to move in a certain way. And so you have to be able to think about that. Like, I'm always interested in spirituality and religion because of the concept of good and evil, angels, demons, cosmic battle, human beings caught in the middle, right? Maybe it sort of describes what I'm talking about, that maybe there's some good events that make you want to go in a direction. Maybe there's some bad events that make you want to go in a direction. somebody dies in your family, and the next thing you know, you relapse and you start using opiates again to deal with the emotions of the grieving process. But previously you hadn't used for a couple years, right? Well, that event, although tragic and very upsetting, appropriately disturbing, it had an effect of pushing you off track, right? So we don't want to allow those events to push us off track. This is where intentionality becomes important, is when the wind blows against you, you brace yourself and you keep pushing forward through the wind, right? Because just turning around and going with the other direction of the force that's blowing you that way means you lose your progress, or you're off track, headed in the wrong direction. So hopefully that helps. And I made this video today along with another video about event stacking. So hopefully if you can recognize when you're being event stacked and when you're being event corralled, you'll notice how those two things could be happening, or seem to be used by some unseen, force, whether that's real or fake or just yourself. It just kind of looks like that sometimes. But those things can seem to have an influence on our decision-making process. And it's important that we don't allow ourselves to be blown with the wind, and blown to and fro, because we have to keep moving forward toward our goal. All right, hope you have a great day and a great life.